Hello, hello, good people and every soul. Today we are going to do a quick training on evergreen businesses as spiritual entrepreneurs. This will be 20 minutes. As you can see on the screen here, we have a checklist of the evergreen de-stress as part of the daily soul de-stress to daily soul evergreen de-stress to empower change program, or for short, the daily soul de-stress program, and even shorter, the daily de-stress program in the soul stress de-stress method. Now, yesterday I shared a post on spiritual entrepreneurship, and more specifically two main types of different spiritual entrepreneurs, two main types of entrepreneurs in general, integrators and visionaries. And as spiritual entrepreneurs are also visionary spiritual entrepreneurs and integrated spiritual entrepreneurs. And essentially, visionaries tend to be more creative or abstract in their approach. They're more focused on, as the name implies, their vision, the mission, and their calling. They can be quite unstructured or wanting to implement many ideas all at once or in an unrealistic period of time, whereas integrative spiritual entrepreneurs tend to prefer uh, having structure and systems, and oftentimes they will gravitate more towards a repeatable and reliable, already done for them business model. And they will feel safer knowing, they're starting with something that is proven rather than innovating, where the visionary is more innovative and wants to do things differently, set themselves apart, whereas integrators are more content with having a more fixed and don't mind doing something that's been tried and tested for years. And what connects the two, what makes them both spiritual entrepreneurs, is that having a higher calling or connection to something bigger than themselves in pursuing their soul business. So today what we're going to look at here is how the 8 essential evergreen strategies that once you get in your business, you release the stress in your business. And there are more than these, there are actually 10. 10 which are very useful to have nailed down. However, 2 are not essential, so I don't include them in this list, otherwise I make the list a little bit longer. And of course, there are ways to segment, different ways to segment and explain what happens in each of these systems. So this is the way that I found works best. for me and my clients, and when I work on my business, I kind of look at these eight essentials first to make sure that my business is in line with where the mission, the vision of the business is heading. So, what we're going to do today is look at how the different evergreen strategies are approached in terms of who is better suited to kind of take the lead on that strategy. And they all require a mixture of integrative and visionary approaches. So this is not to say that, it's only integrated spiritual entrepreneurs or only visionary spiritual entrepreneurs that can work on one of these. So when I say strategies, I talk about the individual points here. So to keep it really simple and easy to follow, I've laid them out in a way that on this checklist you can intuitively see and understand what skill sets and what type of spiritual entrepreneur is better suited to be working on these. And if you're a solopreneur, of course, you might find some parts easier or some parts more enjoyable as a visionary, and also some parts easier and some parts more enjoyable as an integrator. So we're going to jump right in. The first one's offer. And the offer, what it covers mainly is I would say the idea behind the business, the main thing that will be bringing in money, because business is, as designed, is essentially about bringing in money, a value exchange. So there are many types of businesses. Not all of them are based on money. So some organizations will be charitable organizations where it's more based on donations, funding, and this offer is basically, it talks about two sides of it. So what the business stands for, you kind of have idea about that, and what the business offers in exchange for value. And usually this is a product or service, and that product or service with spiritual entrepreneurs is usually connected to their why, to their vision, and the strategy behind that. So here, if it's not obvious, the visionary spiritual entrepreneur is going to be the one who's very much suited or able to convey and optimize the offer. There will be the person who, most entrepreneurs, so the person who begins a business usually, or an enterprise, is a visionary. It's spiritual integrators prefer, not more often than not, say the comfort of a career or if they do go into business, a tried and tested model. And an example of this is, say, an offer doesn't have to be something from scratch. It could be replicating it in a different way. There are a few different examples of this. I'm thinking of some companies I came across recently who, you know, like being the teespring of jewelry, Eric Tars, you can look him up, and his story as well. So his vision was to be like the teespring of jewelry in the custom jewelry industry. So this is not like a wild and out there idea I've never heard of before, because nothing is really new. It's just reinventing, innovating something that has already worked in a different industry, adapting the model. And then when it comes to systems, the integrative spiritual entrepreneur is going to excel more than the visionary. As I mentioned, both visionary and integrative skills can be and are, I would say, needed to balance quality and growth in each department. Systems then looks at things like the logistics of how that business would run based on that offer, the mission, the vision, the strategy that the visionary would usually begin with. So an example of this might be marketing. So where are they going to capture leads? There's not really marketing here because they're split into different areas such as leads and nurturing, which there's a saying in business that everything is marketing, right? And I think that what that comes down to is just like everything is relationships in business. And when it comes to systems, the integrator will be the one probably looking at things like the actual doing of setting up an email list, building funnels. For a visionary, that can be something that's, not their strongest suit, because it's very practical and repetitive. It can be very practical and repetitive. And the visionary can sometimes prefer novelty or doesn't really understand, would have to study a lot about their market to come to a place to understand how to really bring their systems in harmony with their offer. So an integrator naturally is more inclined to be able to balance that area of the business out better. So, for example, the processes, and especially when you're just starting out and you're launching, doing the research, is it viable? Getting through that first sale as quickly as possible to validate the offer, and then putting a process in place to make it repeatable. So this is where an integrator is much more suited to that. There's so much more systems that I could go into. If you have some questions on the offer or systems, then you can ask in the comments. So we're going to go through the next 6 really quickly, because I feel like you don't have to do as much explaining as to what these are. So leads, generating new leads. This is more of a visionary spiritual entrepreneur, as they're usually quite enthusiastic and able to once they've gotten past the offered systems part, able to reach out in a way that, you know, has they're able to qualify the leads based on the vision. So it has the most impact for the offer that they envisioned. Nurturing is more integrators, depending on the nature of the product or service. Generally, nurturing organically is more suited for integrators because they can communicate, they can overcome objections and communicate the value of a product or service or offer in a repeatable way, in a way that can be scaled because it's measurable and like how the people are being nurtured. So it's more of an integrator. When it comes to sales, that's more of the visionary. However, like I mentioned before, there are areas of every one of these strategies where it is necessary to have an integrative and visionary element to balance the quality and growth of our strategy. And admin is more integrator, so integrated spiritual entrepreneurs. We usually find admin easier, and this is like finances, legal, even when you hire it out to people. These are all like very system-based skills that they, prefer to have, and they prefer to require somebody who's analytical. And then fulfillment is more the visionary spiritual entrepreneur, because fulfillment has to do with interacting with clients and in a different way to nurturing, but also being able to create a feedback loop. So the visionary will be able to understand how their vision touches others, and once they know exactly what the systems are, I think this is crucial, especially for the visionary. So the integrator really needs to know what the vision and the offer is to be able to excel going forward, and the visionary really needs to know what the systems are to be able to excel going forward as a visionary. So they work dynamically together to balance the overall harmony, quality, and growth of that business. And then lastly, scaling. And scaling is like being able to automate, get referrals, grow from, say, a solopreneur to a micro business to a small business, and small to medium, and so on and so forth, medium to large. Scaling is usually the integrator's strongest. The integrator is stronger in being able to deliver the repeatable results and to document the process. So I'm thinking something like a business manager. So even though the visionary might have the vision, the mission to scale in 3 years, 5 years to this place, it's usually the integrator who's going to put the work and get the tires, the rubber to meet the road, keep the wheel turning, the machine grinding, and that's kind of how they balance each other out. So if you noticed, offer, I've laid them out in a way where it's visionary, integrator, visionary, integrator, visionary, integrator, visionary, integrator. If you have any questions about that or the holiday offer, this video I will link to the holiday offer and I would like the holiday offer to this video, vice versa, then let me know in the comments. And the holiday offer, essentially what it is, we look at these systems, and there's another checklist where you have visionary and integrators strategies separate with four key elements under each strategies to nail that you can then apply to planning your long-term vision, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, and then we break that down to what you need to do every year, month, week, day. And once you really understand the first two offers and systems, like the offer and your system, it becomes really easy. You can plan your content for a whole year, 2 years, 3 years, and this is in terms of content marketing. You can have a calendar set out. So every week you know what you need to do and you're not sat there thinking, what do I put out to my audience? And you understand your systems, so then you're not really wondering where your leads coming from, how are you going to nurture them, how are you going to make sales, and you can see what's priority for where you're at. And the strategy session is really valuable because you can reflect, you have the plan, and we plan to fail, so we put down best case scenario, worst case scenario, probable case scenario, and we look at where the obstacles will likely arise, and we plan for those obstacles and failures. That way, not only are you not stressed every day, week, month, so on and so forth, because of the lack of structure in your business and not knowing, what am I doing this week? What am I doing today? If you're a solopreneur, or if you are in a partnership with you're a visionary and you're in a partnership with a visionary, I really recommend that you guys both find an integrator, okay? Because from personal experience, visionary and a visionary is a not an ideal match. You need somebody to stay on top of the finances in a reliable way, or you need somebody to stay on top of the legal side in a reliable way. They're just small things that creep up that you both so focused on the big offer that you the big vision and mission that you lose track of. Maybe you lose track of strategy, for example. You lose track of systems or your processes and so on and so forth. So I'm going to end this training here, and I wish everybody a very happy all the holidays, solstice, Christmas, Hanukkah, and I hope you found this valuable. If you did, just comment yes and let me know what are the 3 biggest takeaways, if you can't think of 3 and just 1, and what you're going to do with that takeaway in your specific situation, or how you can apply that takeaway for your specific situation, or maybe in a past situation you've been in, or maybe looking into other people, other businesses, other examples. If you have any, share some of those in a discriminate way, of course. And thank you so much. I'm going to sign out, and till next time, have an empowering best lessons in de-stress? Yes.